welcome back, everybody, to the Brett Figueroa Show, where our ultimate aim is to move, to motivate, and inspire you into your ultimate greatness. Hey, I'm really excited about having you back with us here today. For those that are either watching us live or watching us in the replay, I just want to wish you and your family, I want to wish you all the greatest of success in your health, in your business, your finances, all the different emotional aspects that you may have going on in your life. So we're excited, again, about having you back with us here today. And today we're going to talk about, again, making different distinctions. And today we're going to talk about the distinction, about the meaning that we give to life, the meaning that we give to situations, the meaning that we give to what we call happenings in our life. You know, they say life happens, right? Things happen. But it's really amazing. And I know for the longest of time in my life, you know, people say, oh, Brett, you're always so positive. You're always so inspiring. Yeah, on my positive, inspiring days, we're all humans. We all have moments, where it's just like, oh, and did I get up on the wrong side of the bed? Did I get up under the bed? Like, where did I get up today? But through time, through finding different distinctions, for those that have been watching any parts of our show, I talk about making distinctions. And as we're here in winter and just about ready to start snowing in beautiful Colorado. In Colorado, we only really have just a few distinctions for snow. It's either messy snow, wet snow, heavy snow. We don't really give a lot of thinking to snow. It's just snow for the most part. Heavy snow, wet snow, dry, whatever. Not dry snow. But in Alaska, they have many different distinctions they give to snow. And they give many distinctions to snow because they've got to decide, can we eat with it? Can we cook with it? Can we build with it? What can we do with this snow? And so today's going to be about making a distinction to really bring more happiness into your life, more happiness, more fulfillment. And I think that for, especially in the times that we're in now, we've been through, 2 years of COVID thereabouts, and so much unemployment and so many suicides and domestic violence and alcoholism and drug abuse and, people being laid off. I mean, just so many different variables over the past couple and a half or so years. And so people are just dealing with their own emotional, struggles for the most part in some area of their life. And I know that I've been doing this work for 27 years, and in 27 years, I've never seen it where the topic of, we'll say, mental health is at its highest. It seems like everywhere I go on the internet or just around town or just talking to people, talking about mental health, how's your mental health? And, we might have great physical health, but how's our mental health? And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how we can help design that mental health so we're really feeling strong, feeling vibrant, and feeling empowered versus disempowered in our life. And I think for many, it's, they're so disempowered because of the meaning that they give to certain situations. And so I know for the longest of time, my own personal self, I used to think that what happened, was whatever it was. It was a happening that took place, and I thought, well, this is BS, and I can't believe that this happened, and how could this happen to me, and all this. And I would take this happening of whatever it was, whatever that situation was, and I would give it a meaning. And then whatever that meaning was that I gave to it would either empower me or disempower me. And the fact is, most of the meanings that I gave to happenings in my life in my early years really disempowered me. It was more of a victim standpoint. It was more of like it, like the bus ran over me, and instead of, me, the fact laying myself down in front of the bus, the bus chased me through town and ran over me. I was very victimized by the meaning that I would give to certain situations. I want to invite you into, as we just go in for the next few minutes, to begin to look at what are some of the meanings that you're giving to some of the situations in your life that are keeping you down and dull and frustrated and depressed and demoralized and feel like you've just, been just smacked down by life, been smacked down by like a big giant typhoon. And so, I ask people invariably for so many years, I ask them, what's the meaning of life, right? A simple question, right? Like a real easy question. What's the meaning of life? And, they'll come up with some type of a meaning. They'll give it like it's to serve, or it's to contribute, or it's to be happy, or it's to be successful, or it's to have my family, or it's whatever it is. But there's a meaning that that person gives to life, the meaning of life for that person. And so what I let people know is this. I said, do you want to know what the meaning of life is? I get them all juiced up, all ready to go, right? I said, let me tell you, I'm going to give you the meaning of life. Are you ready for this one? You got your journal out? You got your pen? Are you ready to go? You ready for this one? Okay, because this one's going to be a big one. And I said, okay, well, here's this. Here's the meaning of life. And then I'll show them a blank page. Here's what the meaning of life is. Nothing. The meaning of life is nothing. Life doesn't have a meaning. Life is life. Now, the meaning we give to life many times might come from our past, our history, our family, our generations, what we were taught, our teachers, Madison Avenue, advertisement, all these different things. And we think, this is the meaning of life. So we take this thing called life that doesn't have a meaning. It's blank, it's formless, it's empty, it doesn't have a meaning, but then we attach a meaning to it, right? We attach a meaning to it. And so think about what is the meaning of to your life that you're giving to this thing, greatest thing that you have, that I have, called life. What meaning are you giving to it when it doesn't have a meaning? And think about, what is a meaning that you could give to life that could make all the difference in the world? So nothing has any meaning. So let me just nothing has any meaning. So it's nothing has any meaning except the meaning we give to it. So I'm going to repeat that. Nothing has any meaning except the meaning that we give to it. So what is the meaning? So for me, in my early years, and periodically from time to time, and I got to snap myself out of it, and I go, dude, what are you doing? You're causing your own hell. You're causing your own nightmare. You're causing your own frustration. And what I soon began to recognize is there's this thing called a happening. So right as we started off the show here today, there's this thing called a happening. So maybe the happening is you went through a divorce. That's a happening. Maybe you got laid off from your job. That's a happening. Maybe something happened to you in life. Maybe you can go, this happening. So here's a really great distinction for you, is to recognize that things sit independently upon each other. So there's this happening over here, this thing that happened, whatever the happening is. Doesn't matter what the happening is. That matters to you, but the fact is it's just a happening. And then there's this meaning over here. So they sit independently upon each other. Happening, meaning. And so the quality of our life is based upon the quality of the meaning that we attach to happenings, right? So it gets commingled. It becomes this whole thing, like happening and meaning. But they stand independently and separate from each other. Happening, meaning. Meaning attaches to happening. That then determines whether we're going to be happy, euphoric, excited, empowered, confident, whatever that might be. Or again, the meaning that we attach to something over here, bam, that's going to make us feel down and dead and dilapidated and depressed and frustrated and angry and bitter and resentful. You name it, the list can go on and on. And so it's very important to identify when you're feeling in a certain way, to begin to recognize that the only thing that you can change is the meaning that you attach to the happening in itself. That's all we can change. We can't change the happening. What happened is what happened is what happened. And the only thing that we can change and that we absolutely can control, many times we can't control the happening. The happening happened. We got fired. We got laid off. We got divorced. We got this. We got that. Whatever. That is over here. And so our own happiness or our own hell is going to be predicated upon what type of a meaning are you going to attach. So if you find yourself in a depressed place, a bitter place, an angry place, an upset place, a frustrated place, you find yourself in that place, you can't change the happening, but you can change the meaning. So begin to identify what is the meaning that you're attaching to things in your life that have happened and that are allowing for you to feel a certain way. And so can you have something that happens that's so horrific? I mean, absolutely horrific, and yet find an empowering meaning? The answer is yes. That's what the author Viktor Frankl did in Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl survived the Holocaust, wrote an incredible book, incredible, easy read, simple book, but a tough read. I mean, a tough read, meaning that, anything reading on the Holocaust. And when soon as somebody goes, yeah, but my life sucks, I go, no, dude, the Holocaust sucked. Your life is fine. It's okay. Put things in perspective in the right contrast. Viktor Frankl wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. Like, okay, I've got to search for meaning out of this thing called the Holocaust. It happened. Can't do anything about it. It was terrible. It was horrible. It was pathetic. It was, watching mom die, dad die, brother die, sister die, aunts, uncles, relatives, friends. I mean, they would line up, right in Auschwitz, right before left, you would go to the incinerator, right, you would go to the workforce. But it was left or right. One meant death, one meant you still got an opportunity to live. And so Viktor Frankl was able to find meaning and search that meaning for himself in one of the toughest happenings of all times ever in the Holocaust. I don't think personally you're living the Holocaust. Nelson Mandela said, you can sit in a prison and you have two choices. You can either look at the mud or you can look up at the stars. We have the choice within inside of us each and every moment to choose. That's what God has given you and I, is the ability to choose what is the meaning that we're going to attach to the happenings in our life. And based upon that meaning, it's going to put us in a prison of our own mind, a prison of our own frustration, or it's going to unshackle us to do amazing things with our life. And so I know that for many of you, you're cutting edge, you're students of empowerment and getting better. And so what my aim today and my outcome is to share what I like to call the one good idea philosophy. Just one good idea, and take that idea and then put it into action. It's really anytime you can sit 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, grab just one good idea, boom, take it, put it into action, then it's been worth our time. And so I hope that some of you that are watching this here with us today can begin to look and begin to examine going, oh, I got it. Wow, that's a quick, easy fix. Okay, that's not overly cumbersome. That's not so far out there. That's not like I got to have this big plan, big strategy. No, I just got to get things a new meaning that empower me, right? So I was one of those guys that I was like, this happened to me, that happened to me, this happened to, like there was all these things that happened to me. And you might understand and might be able to relate, right? Maybe in a relationship, or maybe in your finance or your business or the economy or your health. And, this happened to me. And so one of my mentors said to me many years ago, he said, Brett, maybe you can reframe how you're looking at life. And I thought, what do you mean? He said, well, you can look at life as happening to you, or you can look at life as happening for you. Like the choice is yours. Like everything, victim, ran over, bus took me down, city took me down, economy took me down, family took me down, generations before me took me down, everything just took me down, happened to me. What kind of freedom could you have in your life if you actually recognize that the things that were happening in your life were happening for you? They were happening for you to actually serve you, to empower you, to begin to look at things in a new light, to go, how can I learn from this? What am I supposed to be taking from this? How am I supposed to be evolving from this? What type of a new interpretation could I give to this? See, everything in life is really about interpretation. And so it's not hard facts, it's interpretation. And see, based upon interpretation, it either creates breakthroughs or breakdowns. It either blocks possibilities or opens possibilities. See, back many years ago, we as a culture, we as a society, we saw the earth as flat. The earth's flat. That was the consensus. The earth is flat. Well, that interpretation of the earth prevented breakthroughs called space travel. It didn't allow for us to go to space because the earth is flat. Once people went back and really did the research and thought, wait a minute, okay, hold on for just a second, the earth's not flat, the earth is round. New interpretation creates a new breakthrough. Has the earth ever been flat? No. It's always been round. But yet we saw it as flat. That gave us a blind spot to possibilities. So what kind of blind spot to possibilities are you preventing in your life right now, today, in your finances, in your fitness, in your business, in your entrepreneurship, in whatever it is that you're involved in? What kind of blind spot are you creating right now through creating an interpretation of a certain meaning in your life that doesn't have a meaning except your interpretation of that meaning, and then attaching it to a happening in your life? I want to think that something could be a huge, huge, gigantic breakthrough for you personally and professionally. So just as we close out here today, just think about, again, for yourself, and just remember, just to recap, life has no meaning. There's a happening and there's a meaning. And the happening stands on its own and the meaning stands on its own. They don't stand together when it happens. There's just the thing that happened. So I want to assist you and just invite you to begin to look at. So as we close out here today, just think about and just look into your life, just kind of like as a canvas out there in your life, as a portrait of your life. And just look out there into your life and ask yourself, what is a new meaning, a new interpretation that I can give to a happening, whether it's a happening that happened, whether 50 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that by giving it a new meaning, you can create a whole new quality of life for yourself. See, for many that know any part of my background or any part of my early history, it was horrific. It was, when I go into deep dive conversation regarding some of the things that I went through as a child, it's horrific. People would listen in and go, damn, dude. And I thought I had a shitty, growing up or this or that. They're like, dude, how did you even make it through? The only way I made it through is because I gave it a meaning. The fact is I wouldn't be doing this work that I do now for 27 years if that in my life didn't happen. So I had to find a new interpretation to those happenings, the way I was raised, the way I grew up, that was just so insane that, again, when people listen, they're like, dude, how did you do it, bro? How did you make it through? The reason I made it through is because I took the happening, kept it separate over there, gave it a meaning, a powerful meaning. And that's allowed for me to empower people and to serve people. So I just want to invite you here today, and maybe you got a journal, like I can take journal notes and things like that. We like to call it, the book of, if life is worth living, it's worth recording, right? Take down notes, write down strategies, write down little things that you pick up along the way. It can make all the difference in the world. And so just look into your life right now and look at some of the meanings, whether it was something that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, that you're still being affected by it right here, right now, today. It's affecting your family, it's affecting your spouse, it's affecting your kids, and it's going to affect your future generations unless you make a change, unless you take personal responsibility to the meaning that you attach to the happenings in your life and see how that could absolutely transform your experience to living. So just write that down. What is that one thing? What is something that just keeps gnawing away at you? Oh, this happened to me. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, this happened to me. What is that thing you just keep gnawing away with at night? What is that thing that just gnaws away at you during the day? It's just eroding your psychology. It's tearing you down. It's psychobabble that doesn't serve you, doesn't support you. It doesn't nurture you. It doesn't help you grow and become all that you can ever possibly be. And what my aim is for you to become all that you can ever possibly be. I've been very blessed to have great mentors and coaches, and for them, they're just like, dude, my outcome is to see you be the best that you can be, and that's somebody breathing life into me, and I don't think personally there's anything better than somebody breathing life into us, the same way God gave life to me, breathed life into me. And so we want to hope today through our messaging that we can breathe some form of life into you to give you a new sense of happiness, a new sense of satisfaction, give you a quality of life that allows for you to be super empowered, not have to sit around and doing drugs or doing alcohol or overeating or, binge watching television or just, doing crazy stuff because you're finding every single possible way to avoid, right? So as human beings, man, we're avoidance creatures. We just love to find ways to avoid, right? Versus taking life head on. And we've got so many different avoidance mechanisms because we can't seem to find that inner happiness. So we find that avoidance mechanism. Let me find any way to avoid. Let me find TV, food, drugs, alcohol, porno, gambling, shopping, you name it. I'm going to find every single thing. Matter of fact, most of the time we don't even know if we're avoiding or if we're actually just reading a book. Am I reading the book so I can avoid actually and just kind of read this thing so it actually looks like I'm progressing? Or are you actually avoiding? Are you avoiding taking things on head on? So today, I hope that we can, again, make that impact, make that difference with you today to find new ways to have a better quality of life. So you can't change the happening, but what you can change, starting right now, right here today, and in this moment, is you can change the meaning. So put some thinking into that. What's a meaning that you can give to an old situation that can empower you, to serve you, to move you forward into your future in a powerful way, move your kids in a better way, move your generations ahead in a better way, because mom found a new way, dad found a new way, a new interpretation to an old situation. So again, as we wrap up here today, we want to just say thank you so much for each and every time that our guests that are able to come in with us, again, through either a live show or whether it be through a replay. And if this is a message that you find that really resonates with you, as always, put a comment in there or give us some love or give us a share. Maybe you've got somebody in your life, that can absolutely use this messaging that says, maybe you've got a son or maybe you've got a daughter or maybe you've got a colleague or somebody that's just going through frustration. And that if you can help them separate the happening and the meaning, and that if they can begin to recognize that it's all them that creates their own hell by the meaning that they attach to that happening. So share it out to your friends, give us some loves, give us some comments. We look forward to always being able to move, to motivate, and to inspire you. And so for those that are absolutely committed to having a better quality of life, my invitation is to give things better meanings. Hey, so we're signing out here today again. Thanks so much for each and every one of you tuning in, signing in, and being with us when we do our live broadcast. We love you out there in the world and those that are going out there through any difficult times, struggling times, challenging times, frustrating times. This is the time right now to ante up, give things new meanings, give your life a new sense of empowerment, a new sense of fulfillment. Have yourself an amazing day, an amazing rest of the week. God bless all of you out there, and we will see you back on the Brett Figueroa Show. Take care, everybody. Bye.